Hey everyone! Most of the time, love stories do not end with happily ever after. They drift apart, sometimes gently, sometimes with heartbreak. But when it comes to legally ending a marriage in Singapore, proving that separation has truly taken place isn't as simple as living under different roofs. In Singapore, the only legal ground for divorce is the irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. This means that the court needs to see clear evidence that the marriage cannot be saved. There are two main ways to prove this: through fault-based reasons, which include adultery, unreasonable behavior, or desertion, or through non-fault reasons, where separation becomes the focus. Separation represents the quiet unraveling where both parties simply drift apart without overt conflict. It's a much more amicable path, but comes with its own complexities. Separation might seem straightforward, but proving it in court requires more than just living apart. In non-fault divorces based on separation, time plays a critical role. The law in Singapore specifies that if both spouses agree to the divorce, they need to be separated for at least 3 years. If one spouse does not consent, the separation period extends to 4 years. But it's not just about counting the days. You need to show that the separation was continuous and intentional. Even if you took a short break and tried to reconcile, as long as it didn't last more than 6 months, the clock keeps ticking. This allowance was designed to encourage reconciliation attempts without penalizing couples who ultimately decide to proceed with the divorce. Physical distance alone doesn't cut it. Consider Mark and Jane. Mark moved into an apartment across town after the separation, but he still came over for dinner every night, fixing things around Jane's house, and even went on family trips together. To an outsider, it looked like they were still very much a couple. In the eyes of the court, Mark and Jane weren't truly separated because there was no intention to end the marriage. It's not about where you live, it's about whether you've emotionally and practically cut the marital ties. Legally, there must be a loss of consortium, a legal term that means the end of companionship and marital duties. So even if you are living apart, if you are still acting like a married couple, doing laundry for each other, sharing meals, or going on vacations, the court might not see it as a valid separation. Here's another twist. You can still prove separation even if you live under the same roof. It's called separation under one roof. This situation often arises when finances or children make moving out difficult. In such cases, it's about how the couple behaves. They must maintain completely separate lives. No shared chores, no joint finances, and no intimacy. Think of it as roommates rather than spouses. It's a fact-centric matter, and the judge will look at all the circumstances. Things like separate bedrooms, individual grocery shopping, and clear financial independence can all help to prove that despite living under one roof, the marriage has truly broken down. Don't confuse separation with desertion. They might seem similar but are legally distinct. In separation, both parties agree or at least mutually understand that they are living apart. In desertion, one spouse leaves without consent, intending to end the marriage. Desertion must last for at least 2 continuous years before it can be used as grounds for divorce. Imagine that Sarah leaves her husband Tom without any explanation and refuses to return. That is desertion. But if they both decide to live apart for a trial separation, it's not desertion, it's mutual separation. So how do you actually prove separation in court? There are key steps. A deed of separation is a formal document outlining the terms of your separation, including the date it started, financial arrangements, and living conditions. While not legally required, it strengthens your case. A consent to divorce on the ground of 3-year separation shows mutual consent if your spouse agrees to the divorce, simplifying the process. The original application for divorce will state the circumstances of your separation, when it began, how you lived apart, and why the marriage broke down. The more comprehensive your documentation, the smoother the process. It's like painting a clear picture for the judge, showing that the marriage has truly ended. Separation isn't just a legal process, it's an emotional journey. It's about untangling lives that were once woven together. In times like these, it's helpful to reflect on the impermanence of all things. Nothing stays the same forever. Relationships evolve, grow, and sometimes they end. Clinging to what no longer serves us can create more suffering. But letting go, though painful, can also bring clarity and peace. Just like a river that splits into two, flowing in different directions, each path finds its way, carrying with it new possibilities. If you're navigating this difficult path, remember, you're not alone. Divorce is challenging, but understanding the legal process can make it less daunting. And while it's hard to see now, this ending might also be the beginning of a new, peaceful chapter. Thanks for joining me in this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.